Ginger Runner.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ginger Runner Live. I am, of course, your host, Ethan Newberry, at The Ginger Runner. I'm very excited. Holy crap, this is awesome. This is going to be the first episode, hopefully, of many weekly episodes where we talk about all things running, all things endurance, cycling, triathlon, basically anything you guys want to talk about every single week. And tonight, being the first episode, it's going to be kind of chill, kind of lax. We're going to try to get everything technically dialed in. Last week we had a live episode, and it seemed like there were some lag issues, so I hope that those lag issues have been decimated, destroyed, fixed. Very excited, because these problems have been fixed, and this is a really cool opportunity for me to interact with you guys, and for you guys to interact with me and other people, because I'm going to be bringing on guests, and we might even have a guest tonight. If technically everything works, then we will. Tonight, the beverage of choice from Golden Road Brewery, just down the street. Wolf Amongst Weeds. It's a Wolf Amongst Weeds IPA. The Wolf Amongst Weeds IPA. This is delicious. If you get to LA, if you get to join us here in Southern California, I highly recommend you go to Golden Road Brewery. It is awesome. They don't only serve food, like delicious vegan, vegetarian, and meat-eating friendly food, but it's good. And they have a huge brewery you can take tours of, and just good beer. It's really good, and you wouldn't think that good beer can come in cans, but I guarantee you that has changed, because this is delicious. Let's open it up. Are you guys partaking in beverages tonight with me? If so, what are you drinking? Maybe it's a non-alcoholic beverage. I'm cool with whatever. You can do whatever you like. Oh, that's good. I'm sorry if you're getting the swallowing noises. It's probably the worst. Ugh. All right, let's do a little chat room check-in. Let's see who we got there. We've got Aaron Gaines, Mark Stoffels, Daniel Lopez, Jack Frost 9P, Griffin Langens, Keith Whipple, Guillaume Calmetz. I always wonder if I pronounce your last name wrong, Guillaume. Ethan Money. You have the best name. 1, Ethan, and 2, Money. Juan Shen. I'm guessing Juan Shen. Bedhead Redemption. That's awesome. Red Dead Redemption is actually my favorite video game. Pegleg Thread. Les Éclairs sont pâteux, I'm guessing, and Mitch Mehlenfreude, Eduardo Suzuki. Welcome, everybody. And those of you who are not chatting in the type room, typing in the chat room, why don't you go ahead and do that? I'd love to give you guys all shout-outs, personal shout-outs, because I love interacting. I love interacting with people. I'm sorry if I'm going to burp. I'll have to cover my mic when I do. Much better, unlike last time, says Griffin. Good. I'm glad that the technical snafus and the wrinkles have been ironed out. Looking good, Ginger. Thanks, Guillaume. I appreciate it. Everything looks and sounds good. This is great feedback from the chat room. If you, I'm reminding you guys, if I ask a question or if I'm answering one of your questions, remember there's about a 1 to 1.5 minute delay from when you type it and from when I'll be able to see it. And the chat room on YouTube is wonderful in that it doesn't always update frequently. So I apologize if I don't get to your question or it all of a sudden pops in suddenly. Just be patient, because it is all on YouTube's end. They are just dynamite like that. So first of all, if you guys have any questions, need any advice off the bat, I will do my best to provide it. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional runner or anything like that. I'm a regular runner just like you, but I do a lot of it. And maybe stuff that we can all chat about. So go ahead and type that into the comment section, and we'll get to it if we can get to it. Ooh. Ginger, greetings from Brazil. Eduardo Suzuki is from Brazil. Love it. I am assuming you're going to the Rio Summer Olympics. Speaking of Olympics, because Olympics is on right now. And you know what? Here's my first gripe of the night. I don't want to say first gripe. That means there's more. Here's just a gripe. NBC's coverage of the Olympics, I got to be honest, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I want to watch any event at any given point and enjoy it. I don't want to watch figure skating all the time, because that feels like that's all it's on right now. It's just figure skating. It annoys the crap out of me. And then they edit it down to like this highlight reel at the end of the night, like a 3.5-hour highlight reel. Like, here's the best. And it's not. It's just the American coverage. Like, show me cross-country events. Show me biathlon. Show me all that stuff. Josh Spector. Oh, hey, what's up? My buddy Josh Spector in the chat room says, everything looks great except for the giant redhead dude taking up the whole screen. I apologize, Josh. I apologize for that. Hi, from cold southern Ontario, sick of snow. Darren Poyon from Ontario? Poyon, Poland? I'm sorry, man. I'm terribly sorry. I know that there's a whole snow thing happening somewhere other than Southern California. Snow and cold. So for that, I apologize on behalf of Mother Nature. Juan Chen says cheers. Chris Vargo, yeah! Chris Vargo, you weren't here for the pre-show. I messed up a lot of stuff for you, and I apologize. But we're going to talk about race prep and Sean O'Brien, your Sean O'Brien experience here tonight. If you are sticking around, Chris, for like another 30 minutes or so, I would love to get you live on the show. So Chris is in the chat room. Say hello to him, everybody. Benjamin Holmquist, Fiji water. That's what you're drinking? Delicious and healthy. Fiji water is good. Vim2000 says, hey, what's up, Ethan? What's up? Ascenta Summit. When is Strava going to host the next Hoka 11 or Hoka One One Demand More Vertical Challenge? I don't know. I don't work for Strava. I want to go for the win. I'm Greg Abrams from Newbury Park and follow you on Strava. Oh, what's up, Greg? I feel like I see you post amazing climbs and runs all the time, like crazy amounts of vert every single week. So that does not surprise me that you want to go for the Hoka One One Demand More Vertical Challenge. And here was the thing. There was another challenge, I believe it was like a Mount Fuji challenge where like, hey, do the Mount Fuji challenge where you run 60 miles in a month. But then it's like, well, what about the vertical? Like, don't you want us to meet some sort of vertical thing? Because Mount Fuji is a mountain. Why don't you just call it the Road 60-mile challenge? Didn't make sense to me. Woohoo, Ginger Runner's demand. Thanks, Eric Duval. Appreciate that. Austin Kahn, drinking water, no beer for a few years here. Good, Austin. Good on you. This is so much better. Nice, Trent. Love it. Brody Johnson, I'm drinking Irish breakfast tea. You guys are all making me feel terrible for enjoying my IPA. What's up, John Murray? Okay. So I have a couple questions already from the last week's live stream. I'm going to go ahead and get to those now. I want to make sure that I hit them. People have basically, I will post a live show every week that you can go to. It won't be live, but it will say, it'll have a countdown. You can go there and you can ask any questions you want all week long. And at the beginning of every show each week, I will jump in and answer all the questions that are listed, unless there's like 3,000, which there definitely will not be. All right, so first off, question from last week on that chat room. Dallas Green says, I live in Boulder, Colorado, and will be asleep during these live views. One, who, as a road runner, do you look up to the most for inspiration? And who, as a trail ultra runner, do you look up to as well, and why? Road runners, Josh Cox, Meb, I mean, all these guys that are just, one, amazingly fast, right? They're incredibly fast, but they're also really nice, humble people. They're amazing people outside of the marathon and outside of the race. And I think that's an admirable quality. Also, Prefontaine. Who would not look up to Pre? So those are the road, just off the top of my head, those are the road runners. And for trail and ultra, oh my God. At this point, since I'm so kind of diving deep into the ultra world, I've only been in it for a year, but it's just, man, all encompassing. Once you start getting into it and getting involved in it and really loving it and enjoying it, it kind of begins to take over a little bit. So as far as people who I look up to, besides my friends, besides my SoCal crew, who are just amazing people, they're amazingly fast. They deal with hardships and as they come, and man, they're incredibly inspirational. One of which, Sally McRae, I don't even know if she's watching live. She's a friend of mine, but she is a mother of two. She has a full-time job as a personal trainer and like full-time running job, and like just seeing her balance her family and training, and she's also now sponsored by the Nike Ultra Trail Elite team, which is just incredible. She's managed to balance all of this and still perform amazingly well in races. It's incredible. And as far as big names, I mean, of course, Rob Carrar, that guy is just a monster. Chris Vargo, since I know he's in the chat room, real nice guy. And Timothy Olson, also very sweet. Family man, love that guy. I could go on and on. We'll move on to the next one. C-Dub, have you tried the Saucony Cortana? I have not. Saucony shoes, there's a bunch that I want to try that are coming up. Timothy San Wajaya, which low-cut compression socks do you recommend? By low-cut, I'm confused by what you mean. Do you mean just like calf sleeves? Low-cut compression socks, so do you mean like socks that just go over your feet? Because those type of compression things I've actually found annoy me. By having compression socks on while I run, my feet aren't allowed to expand as much as they want to for those long distance events. So it actually hurts. What ends up happening is my feet hurt by the end of it, and it's those compression socks. So compression sleeves is another thing. I actually don't mind those. Alistair, how did you get into ultra running? I don't want to say by accident, but I do want to say because I wasn't very fast at marathons. I think because I had done like 8 or 10 marathons or something at that point, and I wasn't very fast. I wasn't really good at them. I don't want to say I wasn't good at them. I just want to say that I was really frustrated with my performances and not being able to get faster. I didn't have a coach. I was like, you know what? If I can't go faster, maybe I can go further. So then I was like, well, what is this whole ultra marathon thing that I'm finding out about? And I signed up for my first 50K, thinking that was the next step up, and I did it. And like from then on, hooked. I remember finishing that race going, I will never run another one. Took a month off and was like, you know what? I wonder if I could do that again. Signed up for another 50K, did it. It hurt, but felt much better about it. Signed up for a 50 miler. Like it was just that process. Aaron Freeman, hey Ginger, what do you think of the Solomon XR Crossmax's 9mm heel drop? Certainly looking to run 8mm or less. What do you think of that shoe overall? I haven't tried the Crossmax, but I'm a big fan of everything Solomon. They just make really good quality gear. Are you skiing or snowboarding? I'm sitting currently. Daniel Langlois, is forefoot running always better for your knees, and can you do it in a running shoe with a thicker heel? I don't want to get into the argument of is forefoot running just better and more better for injury prevention and stuff like that, because I think that's really going to depend on each human and each body composition and each ability to run with a specific type of gait. I think training yourself to run forefoot, midfoot is absolutely beneficial, because I think it takes away from that heel strike, which in my mind makes perfect sense as why it's detrimental, sending shockwaves up your legs and into your hips and into your knees. So forefoot and midfoot running to me makes a lot of sense in keeping those feet underneath your center of gravity. And as far as heel drop, I started midfoot, like training my body to run midfoot in a Nike Vomero, which has like a 10 to 12mm heel drop, if not more. So it absolutely is possible for you to work on that in another shoe. It makes it difficult because you have heel drag, but it's not impossible. Hi, Ethan. I'm 18 years old. Some older running partners have told me that marathon running is not healthy at my age and that I should stick with half marathon until a year or two. Is this true? Again, I don't want to speculate because I don't know your body type or your body composition as an 18-year-old. I know that I ran my first marathon when I was 19 or 20. So I'm fine. I think it really comes down to, are you strong enough? Are you training? Are you an active person? Are you a not active person? Do you eat well? Do you get enough sleep? Did you go through puberty yet? You know, it really is going to come down to the individual. So you might want to consult your doctor, your family doctor, but I would never let anyone tell you you can't do something. There was a young girl, I think she was 8 years old or 10 years old or something, that ran 100K recently. Incredible. In my mind, I'm going, that's bad. But really, who am I to judge? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. How many gels and bars do you have in a 100K Ultra? This is going to be up to the individual, for sure, and this is going to take a lot of training your body to figure out what it needs nutritionally. The only 100K that I ran was last year with the Cuyamaca. I'm running it again, for sure, because I want to qualify for Western. It's one of my resolutions. And man, I couldn't tell you how many gels I had that day, because I went through a real big patch of just awful. Couldn't put anything in. Nothing. Couldn't even put water in me. Just wasn't going to happen. So I lost track. But I will say I'm doing liquid nutrition now, and I find that works better for me, because then I don't feel quite as bloated with food and overcome with nausea as frequently. So gels, not so much. I want to go check back on the live chat room. Oh wow, tons of stuff. Sorry guys, I was reading the chat room from last week. So all right, let me just catch up here. New Zealand checking in, drinking a local NZ brew on Tuesday the 11th. Nice. It's tomorrow or yesterday. I don't know. Time's wrong. I'm training for my first full marathon. So this is from Trent Lamprey. This is in the current chat room. Trent Lamprey. I'm training for my first full marathon. I was wondering if you have any tips for training and or race day. Funny you should ask. I actually have a video called 5 Tips I Wish I Knew Running My First Marathon. Go check it out. I made a video specifically for the people who are running their first marathon, because I knew when I ran my first marathon, there was no videos that told me like what to do on race day. Like, what the hell do you do on your first marathon? Besides freak out, besides poop your pants. Well, don't poop your pants. Don't do that. So go watch that video. There's some pointers in there that I think are like crucial to know on your first run. This is from Brody Johnson, thinking of going on a 12-hour run sometime this year, not in a race, but just as a training run. How should I go about this? Well, you got to work up to it. And if you're going on a 12-hour run, you're either going to need to stash water or stash food somewhere, or make sure that you have routes where you can go get supplies, unless you have a pack that you can fit everything you need in there. Is there a specific distance you're hoping to go for, or are you just hoping to be able to last for 12 hours? Because really, I think anyone could last for 12 hours as long as they keep their pace low enough where they can just work, work at a nice low heart rate and just kind of keep calories in. And I think anyone can do it. But I would definitely build up to it. I'm not saying run 6, 8, 10, then 12 hours, but you need to get the mileage up for sure. You can't just go run 12 miles without injuring yourself. Even though we read about it in books, ultramarathon man running 30 blank miles on his 30 blank birthday. Not all of us can be Dean Karnassus. Bobulus Schwag. I don't know. That's probably not how you pronounce your last name. I just ran around the world 463.53 times. That's awesome. Nice medals. Thanks. These are very old. Hey there. This is from CTAM79. Hey there. Do you actually eat ginger on runs? Have you ever tried ginger beer? One, I do eat ginger on runs. I do. I actually take in ginger chews on every ultra that I've run. I usually do 1 or 2 ginger chews. They help settle my stomach and keep the nausea at bay. Have you ever tried ginger beer? Yes. It's good. Brian Rice, anybody watching the Olympics? Nope, they're all watching the ginger. John Murray, vitamin water is the drink of choice for this young stallion. Nice. Wonder how much sugar is in that. Probably not as much booze as is in this. That's good. Peg leg thyroid. Uh-oh. That's all he said. Oh, what's up? Adrian Quiz. What is your ultimate goal? Ultimate goal running? Ultimate goal in life? Ultimate goal right now during this chat? Ultimate goal with my fiance? CTAM79, serious question. What is your tracking GPS monitoring gear of choice on ultra distance races? It is this, Ambit 2. The Suunto Ambit 2. By far the best watch that I've run with. Zero problems, zero errors, zero canceling out or turning off. It's awesome. All right, in just a couple of minutes here, guys, I'm going to bring on Vargo. Vargo, if you're still in the chat room, get ready. For those of you who don't know, Chris Vargo is recently signed to the Nike Trail Elite team. He is an all-around stand-up guy. He's an amazing, fast runner. Recently ran the Sean O'Brien last week. Had the DNF, but was hanging with the first 3 guys the whole time. But he was recently coming off of sickness and antibiotics, and I think that just kind of tore up his system. But I'll let him talk more about it when I bring him on in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to answer a couple more questions from the chat room. Excuse me, I don't mean to, again, burp into the mic. Juan Shen says, explain why Pri has that aura while other American runners don't. Ryan Hall, Desi Davila. Because he was amazing. And I'm not saying the other runners aren't amazing. He was very young and very good for his age. Very good for his age. And that was, he was expected to do really amazing things. First time at that point that an American runner of that age could potentially do what he was going to do. But there's books about him. Who am I to speak on it? There are books. Juan, I recommend a book. Felipe Covatore, finished 16 miles today as part of my training and rewarded myself with Korean barbecue and a Korean beer. Yes, nice work. Korean barbecue makes me smell like meat. That's my only thing with that. Colin Cooley, what's up, Ginger? I mean, that's what you said, Ginger. I'm saying, what's up, Colin? Chris Vargo, Colin, and Peg Leg Thyroid, do you belong to a trail running group in SoCal? I'm looking for new people to train with. We actually haven't put a name on ourselves yet, but we keep calling ourselves the crew, the SoCal crew, and a bunch of really, really awesome people. We have 60-plus people watching live right now. What's up, everybody? For those of you who don't know what's happening, this is the official Ginger Runner live stream where I answer questions and we talk about endurance stuff on the fly. And this is going to be a weekly thing, and I'm partaking in some delicious beverages while we do it. I have a deep V. I got some chest hair. I got a beard, a headphone, and a grandpa sweater, all for you guys to enjoy on the fly while we do this thing live. Okay, so if you guys have any more questions for me about specific things, that's fine. I'll answer them as best as I can, as quickly as I can. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get this Vargo guy up in here. I just need to figure out how to do it. Kind of forgot. I kind of forgot how to do it. Give me 1 second. I moved that window out of the way. Of course I did. Invite. wish this was much quicker to do. That's not going to do it. Stand by, everybody. Vargo, I hope you're watching. I hope you're enjoying this so far, because I'm about to get you on. Let's just make sure that I got your email right. Of course, I have to scroll all the way back. There we go. Oh man, I missed it. I have a race coming up for everyone this weekend. Anyone in Vancouver right now? Because I am racing the Vancouver first half this weekend. It's the first road half marathon that I've run since I ran this one, actually, that I'm about to run 2 years ago. I'm very excited. I'm hoping to go for a PR. I think my current half marathon PR is not super fast. It's like 1:42 or 1:46 or something like that. I very much hope to get faster than that. So Vargo, I just sent you an email. Let me know if you get it, and we can bring Vargo on up here. In the meantime, race prep. I wanted to kind of talk about race prep. So basically, going into any race, there's quite a bit of preparation that you need to go through, right? Not only training. So for those of you who are maybe doing your first half marathon, first 10K, first marathon, whatever, you usually have some sort of running calendar, right? Some sort of list of days that you need to run and distances that you need to run. My best recommendation for those of you who are just beginning is to stick to that. Stick to it. Unless you start getting injured or you feel something kind of tweak, then take some time off, figure out what that tweak is, and see if you can get back into training. If you miss a day or two, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Totally fine. And ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Mr.
So basically, going into races, there's quite a bit of preparation.
What's going on, buddy?
Watching the Olympics.
And you're not watching my live stream? How could you not?
No, I'm watching. It's on mute. You're not on mute. They're on mute.
Yeah, you don't need to watch any of that. What is it, male figure skating?
It's speed skating, which is
speed skating.
A little bit better than figure skating.
I think we're getting a bit of an echo. So if you have any sort of headphones or anything like that, do you want to go grab them?
Yeah.
Okay. So Vargo is in the house. He is joining us. We're going to ask him some questions and on the topic of race preparation. He is an elite runner, so it's going to be good to kind of get a perspective of someone who does this for a living. But I would love to know maybe some of your guys' traditions that you do leading up to a race. But as I was saying, so training-wise, stick with your training schedule. That's what they're there for. Coaches, they give them to you for a reason. And I always like to get nice gear. It sounds totally superficial, but I like to run in stuff that makes me feel comfortable. Chris, how do you feel about racing in gear that makes you feel comfortable?
It's huge.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. Chris Vargo, everybody.
That's all. No, I think that's one of the most important things.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I want to talk to you a bit about Sean O'Brien last week. For those who don't know, Sean O'Brien is a 50K, 50-mile, and a marathon event trail. And a bunch of us from Southern California, and Chris, you're from Colorado.
Right.
And so Chris came all the way out to California to run it and was racing in the 50-mile race. And then you had the DNF. Tell us a little bit about what kind of transpired from the beginning of the race to that moment and the decision behind
I was
quitting.
sick for about 2 weeks leading into the race.
Mm-hmm.
I got put on antibiotics, which I haven't been on since I was probably 19 years old. That really tore me up, so I didn't get much good running in leading up to it. I wasn't really that excited to race. I'm always excited to race, and from the gun, I just didn't feel very good. I could still run decently quick. I mean, I led 32 miles or something like that, 31 miles. But then around 34 or 35, I couldn't run anymore. It was weird.
Really?
I wanted to win it too, so I know that sounds stupid that I dropped. I mean, I probably would have ended up third, but it was better I'm still sick now, so.
You still haven't fully recovered?
No, my head is echoing right now, so. Yeah, so I think I have a lot more goal races this year, so
That was actually going to dovetail into my next question. When you are in a race and you're faced with this decision to either continue on and either do more damage to yourself or continue to get worse, at what point do you go, this isn't worth it? There's other goals that I have in mind that are more worth it. And in this particular case, was there another race that maybe you're like, this race isn't my goal race. This is my pay race.
I mean, it was a goal. It was a goal race. I don't know. It's the first time I've DNF'd, so that was new for me. But I wasn't really like too upset about it. It just kind of happened. But anyway, yeah. I want to be healthy for Way Too Cool. I got second to Max King there last year, so that's a huge goal of mine. And then Lake Sonoma. Lake Sonoma is going to be like way more stacked than North Face. I think it'll be faster. So I'd like to be healthy for those. And Way Too Cool is just a big race, and it's fun. So there'll be 3 of us from Nike running. So it'll be a good showcase of the team. I think we all want to win it. So it could be pretty fast.
Do me a favor. Can you unplug your headphones and then talk? Try it again. Go ahead and talk again.
Hey.
Okay, yeah, you can plug them back in. Sorry. Okay. I just want to make sure, can everyone hear Vargo? Because I'm not getting an audio signal on the bottom. I just want to make sure that we can, people are hearing him. Let's see, I think you're just sick of freezing your ass off in Colorado and you should move to warmer climates. SoCal. Let me just ask the chat room, can you hear Vargo? I don't mean to interrupt, Chris.
Oh, you're fine.
Technology is awesome. If you guys can hear Chris, please in the chat room just let us know. I'm getting a little audio meter whenever I talk, so I'm like, oh great, my audio is going through. And oh great, okay, cool. Yep, loud and clear. Then we'll go right back to it, Chris. Cool. So you were talking about Way Too Cool. That's a 50-kilometer race.
Right.
Now I know that you and I have personally talked about this. Is there 100 on your radar? Like we've talked about Western States. We know that Sally is going to Western States, and we're all going to be there to support her. But is 100 something that you want to do? Is it maybe not on the immediate horizon? Like what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean it's something I'd like to do. I originally wanted to run states this year, but in the back of my mind now I'm like, I don't really want to. I'd like to just go out and help Sally for sure. Yeah. I mean, I know that's her big race. So she has she has experience 100 milers. I don't. So it'd be fun to go out and support her, help pace, and really get a lay of the land too, and really see how it runs, and come back next year and do it. So, but I'd like Western States to be my first one for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we had a question in the chat. I don't want to miss it. What shoes were you running in, and what do you train in?
Sean O'Brien, I ran in the Wild Horse, just because the
Nike Wild Horse.
The Nike Wild Horse. There were a lot of big descents, so I wanted a little bit beefier of a shoe, which it's not beefy at all. I mean, that's a bad word for it. But
yeah.
I train on the trails in the Kiger. I like the Kiger a lot. On the road, I train in the Nike Pegasus, which I'd never run in until I got sponsored by Nike, and it's honestly one of the best road shoes that I've run in. It's simple, it's plain, it's light. So, yeah. The Kiger and the Wild Horse are pretty sweet. The new stuff that's coming out there'll be a bigger difference from the Wild Horse to the Kiger. So, I think you'll get different types of people running in either one of the shoes, so it should be pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I definitely need to add them into the review rotation. Now, the whole what I wanted to talk to you about tonight is rape. That's not what I wanted to talk to you about.
No.
Race prep. Because I have a half marathon coming up this weekend. I know that you have Way Too Cool coming up. Is there anything that any advice for anybody that watches any of these videos as far as prepping for a big race, whether it's your first, whether it's your longest, or whether you want to go for a PR?
I think the biggest thing is to not change anything that you normally do on a daily basis. Like Ethan, you saw what I do in the hotel, food-wise. I bring a camp stove, I boil up water, and I make the same pasta that I always eat. So I know that I'm not...
For those of you who don't know, for weeks we were talking about, hey Chris, let's all go out for dinner. Let's go grab grub the day before the race. He's like, yeah, sounds awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to try SoCal cuisine. And then the day of, he's like, oh no, I'm going to stay in my hotel and bring out my camp stove and cook noodles.
Yeah.
And have that.
Yeah.
Tradition, man. You got to stick with tradition.
It's what I've always done. I eat really simple and really clean, and I generally, when I eat something that I haven't had, it just does not do well with me. So it's
yeah.
I mean, there's some people that go out and eat sushi the night before and have fun with that. I mean, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, keeping things simple, what you always do, is great. Don't change shoes up. Don't change any gear up. Don't try new stuff, which I tried a bunch of new stuff at Sean O'Brien that I quickly
so did I. Made that
found
mistake.
out that did not work out too well. But just don't change things up. As far as training goes, I don't do like a hardcore taper. I do my coach usually does like an 8 to 10 day taper for me, where I'm still going to do a workout the Tuesday before a Saturday race just to keep my legs moving. So it is different for everyone. So, yeah, nutrition, don't try any new nutrition. You should go on multiple long runs with the nutrition that you're going to use.
Yeah.
So that can really jack your race up if you have stomach issues. I mean, you're done if you have that. So
for sure. And as someone who has made that mistake and has accidentally brought in something that I hadn't normally used, I can absolutely attest to that. That's good advice. And I actually went against that this last weekend, and during Sean O'Brien, I tried Tailwind, which you happened to mention the other day on Trail Runner Nation. I just got the first time.
Yeah, I just got some sent to me from them because they heard me on that podcast. So did you
Awesome.
Did you like it, or?
Honestly, I did, like, because I've been kind of moving more towards liquid nutrition to kind of get my calories in, and Perpetuum has always been my go-to from Hammer, but I've tried it on like two small runs, and was like, oh well, it's fine, it doesn't hurt my stomach or anything like that. But then this last weekend I was like, you know what, I'm going to consider this a long training run, a 32-mile training run. I'm going to use it, and it was awesome. It's all I took in was just liquid. And
oh really? You didn't?
You
didn't eat anything?
I had a couple bites of watermelon at the aid stations whenever they had it cut.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it kept me happy. I didn't really need any of that.
Cool. That's interesting. Yeah, if that works, that's a good way of doing it, for sure.
Now, for gear, like, what do you, depending on what distance the race is there any particular gear that you like to wear race to race to race?
Well, before I got sponsored by Nike, I was running an Adidas stuff, and the Adidas shorts that I wore had this huge key pocket, and I could put like 5 goos into it. But the Elite Nike kit doesn't have any pockets. So I'm starting to toy around with how I go about holding my goos and whatnot. So at Sean O'Brien, I was using those little Ultimate Direction like waistband pockets. I don't know if you've seen those with like the Velcro. Anyways, I had that. I was running with Aish going into the first aid station. I popped it open to get a gel, and the whole thing pops off. And I can't get it back in, so I ended up just throwing it to Josh Spector, who was filming. So that was something that I had never used before, and that did not work. But I like Amphipod products.
Yeah. Okay.
They're kind of shitty made, but like the feeling, they just sit in your hand really well.
Yeah.
And I've figured them out pretty well. So that's kind of my go-to. Although I think Nike has some handhelds that I probably have to use from here on out.
Yeah, I've used one of them. They were actually pretty decent.
Yeah, so I mean, I could use whatever. So I just took gels and stuck them into my waistband. There were enough aid stations at that race anyway that you really didn't have to carry much of anything. But yeah, that's all I run with.
Okay.
Really. Yeah.
We have a couple questions from the chat room. If you guys are watching us live, we are joined by Mr. Chris Vargo, who has recently signed with the Nike Trail Team. He's now a Nike-sponsored athlete, lives in Colorado, is an amazing, amazing runner. 3rd place at the North Face 50 Miler World Championships in December. Just an incredible runner. Okay, let's go back here. I just want to make sure I didn't pass it. Tips for snow running from Nicholas Schmidt. Since you're Colorado-based, you're probably dealing with that right now. Any good tips?
Like today I ran, it snowed and then it melted and then it froze over. And I was struggling. I just ran flat on like the local greenway that follows the river that goes through town. And it was miserable. Like it was super icy. But normally I would run in the Solomon Spike Cross. It has those carbide spikes on them.
Oh, yeah.
You don't slip anywhere on that. But honestly, on the trails, when it gets packed down a little bit, I just run in a trail shoe. The Kiger actually does really well in the snow. I was running with Tina Lewis yesterday in Boulder, and we went up Green Mountain, and I'd never been
really
up there
jacket
before.
Too, Chris. I want that jacket.
Yeah. Did you like that? I
did actually. I thought it was awesome.
I think it's pretty sick, the pink and blue.
Yeah, I want it. No, I'm serious, Chris. If you don't give me that jacket,
I will
murder you.
I'll find a way to get you one. But honestly, yeah, I mean, you can buy, like La Sportiva makes little spikes that you can screw into the outsole.
Right.
It doesn't jack your outsole or midsole up too much. I'm sure after a while, if you take them in and out, it would. But I just run in the Kiger. It does pretty well in the snow. Nice. Yak tracks, if you can handle something strapped onto your foot like that, that's gonna be good.
I've worked with those a little bit before.
I can't do it.
It's a mixed bag for me. It depends on what shoe you're wearing. The Yak tracks, for those of you who don't know, are the straps that have like little metal bearings underneath that you can actually slip onto any pair of shoes. They just like pop on. They work with some shoes and not with others. If you're really minimal, they hurt. So just be careful because you'll actually feel the chains underneath your feet. So that can be a problem. Yeah.
So you just kind of have to toy around with it. You can even take screws, like a 1/4-inch length screw, just with like a flat head, and screw those in. Those work pretty well. Though I forget the name of the type of screw that it kind of sticks out a little bit.
I don't know, but someone in the chat room, Chris Holloway, is saying, yeah, those screw-in nibs do pretty well, he hears.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what kind.
Yeah, and it all does depend on what shoe you're wearing. You'll feel something through most minimal type shoes.
Another question, Momi Ford. Chris, do you still build Lego sculptures pre-race?
Hi, Momi. Momi's one of my friends from back home in Bloomington.
Nice.
She's a cool chick. I haven't been, but I need to. I have so what she's talking about, I used to build Legos the night before a race. Yeah, because it sounds weird, right? But it was really relaxing to me. So if I'd get all my shit done, and I'd build Legos. But yeah, I haven't done that. I need to bring it back. So I've had a lot of good races after doing that. So.
And I think we'll take one more question from the chat room for Chris. Any nutritional advice for college students who are training? We've all been to college. Well, not all,
that's a tough one. I like if you're eating at the your little dorm food court, it's hard to kind of find healthy options. But I would you could cook your own stuff in your, like if you're in a dorm, you can cook your own food. But in college, I ate like shit in college. So I don't really have any good options.
It's kind of like what you have to do in college. The whole point of college is to get away from the parents, get away from the rules, and just eat like shit.
Yeah, I mean, I would do some research, I guess, and see what works for you. And there's a lot of easy options that you can do.
If you eat top ramen, have like a sprig of broccoli. Balances it all out, right?
Dude, I would eat macaroni and cheese with tuna in it every single day. That was my.
Dude, that's what I did. I'm not even kidding. That's what I did.
Yeah, every day.
Tuna. Yep. Or top ramen with tuna and an egg.
Hamburger helper. Egg sandwiches. Yeah.
And now look at you, sponsored by Nike.
Yeah.
Like an elite runner, killing it.
Yeah.
Hamburger helper, man. You heard it here. Best advice for a college student: hamburger helper, mac and cheese, and tuna.
Yep. There you go.
Cool. Well, dude, again, Chris, I really appreciate you taking time away from the muted Olympics to join us on Ginger Runner Live. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I actually turned it off. I gave you my full attention. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, my friend.
Thanks for
everyone in the chat
on.
room, say goodbye to Chris Vargo. You can follow him on Twitter @thevargo, Facebook. Is it like facebook.com/Chris Vargo?
CJ Vargo.
CJ Vargo.
Yeah. Instagram.
Any other thing you want to shout out?
You can follow me on Instagram. That's my favorite one.
Yes.
That's just Chris_Vargo.
Perfect.
Yeah, so hit me up. Yeah, for sure.
Well, dude,
Cool.
we appreciate it. Thanks so much. Chris Vargo, everybody.
Thanks, Ethan.
You got it, man.
Ciao.
That is awesome. Chris is rad. A super, super sweet, nice guy, and an amazingly fast runner. Very, very talented athlete. So if you get a chance, go follow him on all the social networks. Tell him that the Ginger Runner sent you so he knows to block you. No, I'm just kidding. He wouldn't ever think about doing that. For those of you who are just tuning in, I don't want to block Chris. Now it's asking me because you ejected Chris, do you want to block Chris? No, I don't want to block Chris. Chris is allowed back anytime. For those of you who are just joining us, welcome. This is Ginger Runner Live. I am the Ginger Runner, Ethan Newberry. And I'm going to do this every week. Basically, I want to jump on here every week for a live show where we can talk about all things running, cycling, triathlon, everything, and answer questions and talk about a theme. So we're talking about race prep tonight. And I had Chris join me right in the middle of kind of what I was talking about with race prep and some of the traditions that I do. Like he said, I stick with nothing new. The whole idea of the night before a race, I'm not going to go get just a mound of spaghetti and eat it, even though that's what I do now. But that's because I normally eat that way. If I was someone who's a stout vegan or someone who just never ate carbs, the day before a race, I'm not going to go eat a giant bowl of pasta because I think that would be the worst thing to do. You don't want to shit your pants. Shitting your pants is probably the worst thing you could possibly do during a big race. If I don't eat meat, I'm not going to go have a hamburger. If I eat a low-fat diet, I'm not going to eat a real high-fat the night before. You know, I just stick with what you know, stick with what your body is used to, because the second you start putting things that your body's not used to into it, it's going to fight back. And that's what you don't want to happen on race day. It seems like common sense, but I've made the mistake, and I know lots of people that have made the mistake. Nice. A lot of people in the chat room saying thanks, Chris, for stopping by. Chris is awesome. And blah, blah, blah says more shirtless selfies, Vargo. So, Chris, if you're still watching, more shirtless selfies. Apparently, people want it. Evan Fortune says, I ate a lot of veggies and carbs, tried to eat clean, but not always easy. That is, yeah, for sure. That's actually kind of what I'm dealing with right now. So I've been working on doing, I've been a vegetarian for the last 6 years, so I can just consider myself a full-time vegetarian. I don't eat meat. Haven't made the mistake of eating it, unless you count that one time that someone snuck bacon into my macaroni and cheese, which wasn't very nice, but tasted great. So, for example, I've been doing this thing right now where I just want to eat as much vegetables as possible, as many vegetables as possible, and trying to limit my carb intake to almost go into a ketosis state, because I'm working on the maffetone. I think it's the maffetone method, where I run at a lower heart rate for a longer duration, multiple times a week, to basically teach my body to use my fat instead of my glycogen to help me run. So that's something that I'm working on right now. I'm going to report back to let you know if it works. Totally agree with you, Ethan, on the coverage. It sucks. Oh, you're talking about the NBC coverage, yeah, of the Olympics. Yeah, that's pretty much true. So if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and ask them right now, just in case. I have a couple more minutes to get to them, but for now, I might actually end up having to wrap up this episode, just because I want to let this be the first episode, let it kind of sink in. We had a guest. We had a very special guest join us, which I had a lot of fun with. Thank you, Chris. And, Danielle Langlois. Ethan, did you meet your fiance through your channel? No. Though that would be hilarious if I'm just like, oh, look at this YouTube commenter. I love her. I wish. She actually found me on MySpace. She stalked me on MySpace. Yeah, that's our history. And that actually dates exactly when we met. We talk about that all the time. It's like when we say that we met on MySpace, it gives it a very brief period of time when MySpace was popular. So you know when we met, which was years ago. Momi Ford, hi Chris, hashtag B-Town Pride, or B-Town Proud. Evan Fortune, forget screw and nibs, just hammer nails into the shoes. You're talking about points down, right? That's actually true. Evan, I totally forgot about that. I actually did that when I was a teenager running cross country in some rough, icy conditions back in the Northwest in Seattle. Little short head nails, just long enough to peek through your tread on the outsole of a shoe. You just hammer them through, and all of a sudden you've got, you want to make sure you take your insole out. Take your insole, take every layer out you possibly can, then hammer the nails in, because otherwise the nails will come back through. And it actually didn't work very well, because the nails kind of started to come back through. But for a run or two, it was great. Flat versus mountain course. Matthew Benz is asking, flat versus mountain course. 50-miler flat equal to a blank trail mountain race? I don't get it. Mountain courses will always be tough. Flat courses will always be flat? You think so? Evan Fortune says ramen 24/7. Ramen all the way, man. We're talking about college food or a little bit earlier, which is just awesome. When I was in college, I literally survived off of hot ramen, top ramen, Maruchan top ramen with tuna and an egg. I would cook an egg in there and make it feel like chicken fried rice. All right, we got a lot more questions here just popping through. This show makes me so happy, not sure why. Thanks, Danielle. I appreciate it. This live podcast is awesome. I love that. Now, so here's a question. So this is going to be archived, so you'll be able to watch this at any point on YouTube. You can go back and watch it. The real question is, should I make this into a podcast? Like, should I actually take the audio from this, which I don't know if I'm sure I could, and turn it into a downloadable podcast? Is it as interesting to do that? I think it's more interesting to watch it. I'd much rather watch a human talk than listen to a human talk. But I don't know. My voice could be really soothing. You could just turn the monitor away and listen to my voice and tell me if it's good. It's a deep V that makes it so great, says Evan. I love it. I don't know why I allowed this deep V to happen, but it's happening. It is happening right here for you now. Joseph John, I was running a marathon and passed a dude that had poop running down his leg. By the way, there's no filter here, guys, so I'm going to swear. I'm going to talk about poop. It's all good. It was really gross and smelly. Do not poop during a marathon. It sucks for everyone. Joseph, I'm going to be honest with you. That person probably couldn't help it. I've often asked myself, why does that happen? Why is that a rumor? Why is that even something that people are worried about happening? And honestly, I have a feeling it's because some people have issues or diseases or what was it? What was I thinking? There was some Crohn's. I think Crohn's disease is one of them, but there could be a medical reason why that is happening to them. And so I can't judge. I honestly can't judge. I know it's gross and I know it's probably disgusting, but the truth is that person is running a marathon and they're not stopping even though they have shit running down their leg. So part of me wants to high-five them, but I don't know where their hands have been, so I won't. I know it's hard to see and I know it's probably uncomfortable, but they probably, one, don't know what's actually happened because sometimes they just can't control it, or two, know it has happened, are extremely embarrassed about it, but do not want to give up. That's what I have to say about that. It is gross, I know. I have gotten close, but I managed to make it back to the bathroom in time. Vargo says, I will come on shirtless next time, my favorite. Good, Chris, I can't wait to not have you back. Clothing is not optional on this. So, all right, that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the show. It's already been almost an hour, so I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We've had a number of you guys tuning in and watching live. I love it. I very much appreciate it. I hope you guys have had fun. If you have, let me know in the comments. And again, this is going to be archived, so you'll be able to watch this all week long. I hope I got some of your questions. This is the first episode. It's very loosey-goosey. I just kind of wanted to experiment with the format, and it'll be more structured in the future. But I wanted us also bring on a live guest so you can see what it's like to interact with a live guest. So thank you, Chris, for doing that. I'm glad that the comment system is working. There's about a minute to a minute and a half delay, and the comments don't necessarily refresh right away. So I have been able to see some questions come through. There's a shit ton of comments, so I appreciate that. But I apologize if I have not been able to get to all of them. What you can do is I will post, right after this video, I'm going to actually post the live event for next Monday, which I will be doing on location in Vancouver. Hello. The time is going to be TBA. I'm going to say 6 p.m. Pacific time, but it could be TBA just because it's going to depend on when I can get to Wi-Fi, because I'm going to be in Canada, so I can't just do it from anywhere. I'll have to have Wi-Fi. But I will post that live event, and what you can do all week long is go to that live event and actually ask a question in the chat room. The comments will stay there all week long, so I can actually jump in next Monday and read them and answer them accordingly. I haven't decided for the topic for next week. Today was race prep. We kind of touched on some of this stuff. Again, this is just kind of a rough idea of what these shows are going to be all about. So next week could have some more structure to it. Could have some more predetermined talking points. But I kind of like this format. I kind of like just chilling, relaxing, shooting some b-ball, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know what I mean? Oh my God! And just like that, 300 new comments just came through. I'm sorry. That's not my fault. That's YouTube. Awesome answer to the poop comment. I have gastric. See? Perfect. Perfect. Will you ever review Nike shoes? Yes. You know what? I'm going to answer some of these questions in the post show. Stick around. So that is it for today's show, guys. For the live show, I will stick around in the chat room for just a little bit after, just to say goodbye to everybody and answer any remaining questions. But once again, for those of you who maybe are tuning in a little bit late, I, of course, am Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, broadcasting live from the Ginger Runner studio. That sounds awful. It totally sounds awful. Again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys are getting out there training hard, racing harder, and partying hardest. And don't forget to use the hashtag #TrainRaceBeer, because I'm enjoying one right now. We'll see you guys next week, live. Peace.